Hey there. In this one, I wanted to go over taking basic motifs, which are just some of the images you want to put together to create your repeat patterns in Illustrator, and review how to use those so you'll have this with you while you're working on your project. I also wanted to show you the shape builder tool just quickly because it may be something that might be useful to you as you're creating these different motifs and shapes to actually put within your designs and your repeat patterns. So the actual shape builder tool you'll find over here, and Shift M is the shortcut to that. And as you know, I love my shortcuts, so Shift M it will be as I work on this video. And why don't I just grab this guy? So I'm going to select it, hold Alt and drag. Remember, that will make a copy. Z, I come in, and so what I might do is something simple like, let me drag this over again here, maybe put one here, and I'm just holding Alt and doing this. And so now I have these on top of one another, and maybe this one I might want to bring to the front. So if you ever have the situation, it's not going to really matter so much in here because we will be using the shape builder tool. We could do it there, but if you wanted to keep these separate objects, if you were to click on something and then right click, you'll see that there's something called arrange, and you can actually send items to the front or the back or backwards. I could actually bring this to the front as well, and so that actually causes this object to come forward. So that's something, if you ever find yourself in a situation where you need to, like, well, I want that behind it, then just right click and arrange and tell it to send it to the back. That one's already the back, but I could bring this one up front now if I wanted, and Command Z to take it back. So what I'm going to do now is just show you something quickly with the shape builder tool that might come in handy as you're creating different, like I said, designs and motifs to use in your repeat patterns. If you select everything, as you can see, we can see where all the intersections take place and the empty space through here. But what Shift M, what the shape builder tool will allow you to do is to actually get in these and create shapes, merge shapes, extract them and cut them out. It's a really great tool. I love it. So here we go, Shift M. And you can see as I go through these that now it's looking at these as if they were their own separate objects now, instead of just being on top of one another and being layered. So if I wanted to do that and make this its own object, all I would do with the shape builder tool on this is just click once on it, click once, and then I'm going to hit V to shift, and then you can see that the shape builder tool allowed me now to make separate objects out of all of these intercrossings of shapes. And why would I want to do that? I don't know, maybe I might want to change the color or something. So go like this, maybe come down here, grab that, not that color. Okay, there we go. And then what I could also do is holding the Shift key. Remember, I can select more than one thing. Maybe grab the eyedropper, do this, and then I could change the color of it if I wanted as well. So that is actually a handy thing when you're playing with the actual shape builder tool. Also, what you can do is, let's Command Z back a little. Okay, and so we went back really far, so you get to see this again. Bring to the front. Okay, so now what I'm going to show you is with the actual shape builder tool as well, what I can do is if I hit Shift M, now it's selected. If you notice there's a plus sign by that little arrow. When I hit Alt, it goes to a minus sign. So what I can actually do is go in and actually cut an area out as well, and then get out, hit V. How do I know this is an open area? So I can put it over here and we can see through it. So it allows you to actually cut things out also. And then it allows you to actually merge shapes. So something you might want to do with this is, now I hit Shift M, if you click on it and just drag through every individual shape that's being highlighted, then it'll actually turn it into one shape and merge them all together. So the shape builder tool is awesome. It allows to do different things. We get rid of this. I mean, maybe something simple like you can cut things out. So I'm going to do Shift Alt, make a circle. Then what also, maybe I'll go grab a star and hold the Alt key here to get a sharper point of a star going, and then maybe something here and something here. And what I could do is select all of these, Shift M for the Shape Builder tool. I'm going to hold the Alt key, and then I can cut out this and this. And you could even have something like that if you wanted. You could also take the strokes off if you would like over here and click away. You can have something along those lines. If you group them, like I said, you can kind of see through what's happening on some of these. So like I said, it's an awesome tool. So maybe it's something that you might want to play around with as you're trying to do some, like I said, some simple motifs for these repeat patterns that you're working on. Okay, and so speaking of, here's repeat patterns, and so I've just made some basic shapes and just wanted to go over this with you again. If you highlight all of them and go to Object and then go to Pattern, Make, remember the computer has this built inside of it, so it's pretty awesome. It defaults to grid, so that would be the first thing that you play with as well. You can also do brick by row, so brick repeats, brick by columns, where you can create more of half drops, and then you can play here with your brick offset. This is at half. Maybe I do 3 or 2/3. Let me do a 3/4. And so you can play around and see what works best for what you're trying to achieve with your repeat patterns. Also hex, and then you notice here you don't have that option though when we get to a hexagon, and then hex by row. And so you can play around with this. Now what we have here is kind of the tile shape, and this is a hexagon tile shape. Here we were working with grid, so we have this rectangle tile shape. If you wanted to play around with the width of the tile itself and the height, or I'm sorry, yeah, the width and the height, what you could do is maybe I want to bring this in a little closer. I could hit 2.5, and knowing here that it's going to maintain my width and my height proportions, I'm going to hit enter. I can bring them a little closer together with one another, or just the opposite. I could come in and let's hit 5 inches, and then they spread out. And so now I can see them across my board this way. And then what this is copies. And this is really a wonderful thing when you're working on repeat patterns, because you can actually see the changes as you work take place in front of you. I usually keep mine about 5 by 5, 7 by 7, but there's a 5 by 7 down here as well. But it just, you want to see it repeat at least 5 times so you can get a feel of your textile. There's also, instead of having to type this out, sometimes you just work by eye, and maybe I want to bring this back to 3 inches. And up here, this is a pattern tile tool, so when I highlight it, notice how the tile changes, and now I can actually play with it myself. So if I hold the Alt key, the Shift key, and bring that out, I've actually turned it into a square because I held the Shift key. I can Command Z back. I can pull the tile out this way, pull the tile out this way, bring it up. And then, like I said, just visually playing around with maybe what you might want this to do here. And so these are options that you have. So I hit V, which is select, and it took me out of that. So what I'm going to do now is watch as I'm going to keep mine on the grid, but you can, like I said, you can play around with whatever you want in creating different types of repeat patterns. But I might move this over here, move this one down a little, maybe bring that one up here, this one through that, and maybe overlapping into this one. And maybe I want to bring this one down, but see what I mean? You actually can see this design take place. I can rotate this while I work and maybe achieve this more linear feel, or maybe I want to rotate it this way as it works through, or maybe I want to make it smaller so it's not so obtrusive in my design. So you can work on this as you go. You can create changes, move things. Maybe I want another one of these. I hold Alt, or select it, hold Alt, drag another one, maybe put it in here, make it smaller, and even maybe change the color of it while I'm here. So let's do something like that. There you go. And so I can start creating this pattern, and I turned it into a circle. And the reason that happened is, let me go back. Let me zoom in here. These right here, if you actually click on these and drag in, it actually curves the edges for you. So that will take the circle. Now I can turn it into a square by bringing these all the way up. And because I used the rounded rectangle tool to make that, so just to show you what happened is I pulled that in, and that's why the circle happened. So let me go back here, like I said, back to this, double click. Let's go a little bluer, maybe. There we go. And hit that. And like I said, just bring that in, holding the shift key, and then let me zoom back out a little so I can start placing this where I might want it. Maybe I want it to intersect somewhere around here. No, because now it's too close to that one. But you get the idea, and I want it inside the middle. So maybe I'll do something like that. Also, too, you can select things, eye drop, which is eye. Change the color and fill of something as you're going. So maybe you wanted that to be more solid. I don't think I want that, but anyway. And so now that I have this, let's say I'm okay with it. What I can do is you hit done, and it automatically has already put a swatch into your swatches panel over here of the one we worked on. So if I hit done, then it'll go in there. But if I hit save as copy, it'll go in there, and this will still stay as an open window, and then I can continue to play more, and then when I hit done, it'll have the one I've saved as a copy as well as the next one I worked on, and you can continue to save as copy as you go. So if I hit save as copy, new pattern, it's been added to the swatches panel, there it is. Now what I can do is come in, and maybe I don't want this one in here at all, and maybe I just want this one, and maybe I want this to go more like this in here and this around here, and you can keep playing. Maybe I want this to go up. Something like that. And then maybe move this one here now and this one over here. There you go. And so maybe that's the next one I want. And so then those are the only two I want. I can just go done. And when that happens, don't go, oh, where did my textile go? It's gone, it's gone. It's not gone. Remember, that was just the pattern maker showing you the textile. Your gold is right here, guys, right here. So these are the two new patterns. Let me just get rid of these. These are older ones, so they don't confuse us. Yes. Okay, so these are the two that I just created. So your textile did not disappear and you did not lose it. What you're going to do is now take this textile, and what you're going to do is, I'm going to move these off to the side, and if you pull this out in here, there's your key repeat right there, this box right here. And that's where all the gold is, and that's what creates the textile. So what I'm going to do now is, the way I want you to turn these in is I want you to just grab a square tool over here, it's still on star, or grab the rectangle, sorry, and then fill this up for me, and you can fill it up from here to here and leave a little space at the bottom. So pick whichever one. I have this one, or you could do that one. Remember, that was the second one that we made. And then also too, if you don't like the scale of it, obviously there's two things you can do. Let's delete this out for now. Let's pull this guy back out. And then if you do isolation and click on that, go over here, and you can see that this is 3.5 by 3.5, so, or 3 by 6 by 6. You can change that in the key one, but when you're filling something, like maybe in a document or print collateral or in an image, or putting something into it, what you could do is, let's go back to the rectangle, fill it in. Let's click this one. And then I'm going to show you, let me move this guy over here. I'm going to show you the actual, get that over there, scale tool. So if you go over here, here's what the scale tool looks like, and S is the shortcut for it. So I'm going to hit S, and here we are. I'm going to double click on it, and what that's going to happen is 50%. Well, what happened when I hit 50% is not only did the scale change of the actual pattern, it changed the scale of the object as well. So what you want to do is hit OK. I'm going to hit Command Z. I'm going to go back over here, double click on the scale tool again, and uncheck transform objects. Now what's happened is it's changed the size of the textile design, but it has not changed the size of the box. So then what you would do is, like I said, go back to the original, find out, pull it out. All you have to do in your swatches, remember, is you can just drag the key piece out and then hit V, which is your selection tool, and just not the entire rectangle, okay? Let's see, but just this part of the textile design. Just double click on it, and then that would be where you can find out the size of it. And it's over here, 3.5, I'm just going to say 3.5 by 3.6. So here at the bottom, and so when you select it, it selects all of it and it starts to do the repeat. But your key piece is that middle tile right there. And delete that, and then down here with the text tool, which you know how to use, T is a shortcut. I'm going to come down here, and then I'm going to go over to my properties. And let's see. Let's start with, what is it, 3.5 inches by 3.6 inches. And here is the size. So I would want you to put the actual size of the key repeat. So what you would write is the key tile is 3.5 by 3.6. Okay, so you need to do this, and remember to get out of the type tool, you hit escape, then you can hit V, and you can move this anywhere you want. So if you wanted to put this over here or something along those lines, that the key tile repeat is 3.5 by 3.6. So that's the size of, that's the scale of that original one. And so that way I can see that you know that you're actually paying attention to the actual sizes of some of these as well. And so if we go into here, let's see, and hit T to go back to my text tool, go up here, go to my properties, and maybe I want to change the font size. That's a little better, and then hit escape, get out. And so you're going to do this for each of the textiles that you actually create. And then what you're going to do on this one after you're done is File, and then export it, export as, and then you're going to do a PNG is fine, you can name it, and then export. Well, let's see, it's not going to let me do that. Then what we're going to do is do this, select it all. Let me go over here and get rid of this. Come back, try that again. File, export, export as, and maybe you just want to do it as a JPEG onto your desktops. So you know where it is. Export, there it is. Resolution, make certain it's at 300. Okay. And it's gone to my desktop, and then you'll do that for each one. And so as you do this, I mean, what I would do is, knowing that your swatches, every time you do a textile pattern, your swatches go in. I know I've already done this and I've saved it, so what I would do now is maybe come back in here, select all, delete it, and then swatches, say you've got this, let's open them. You've got your textiles here, and so then let's do the next one. And you can do the same thing. Come back in. So I would do all my textile designs first in here, and then come back in and just drag them in, drag them in, drag them in, export, drag them in, export, and drag them in, export. And then you'll see when I sign off here, and then I come back, if you open it, this is what you'll turn into me. So I get to see your key repeat, or I get to see your textile repeat, and I get to see what size your key tile is. Okay? And if you have any questions on this assignment, please just reach out to me. As always, you know that you can. And I'll answer any questions. And if you need an individual video that's specific to what you're working on, then let me know that too. And I will take your request and I will get that to you as you need it. Okay? Thanks.